RoadsideImports.com presents available at AssistedKnife.com. I want to reach out to all my kin that are fishermen. This goes out to all of you. Let's not forget that the original auto switchblade was pioneered by the Charade Cutlery Company during the 1920s. It was developed as a tool for fishermen to cut the nets in extreme seagoing conditions where a rough swell and a snagged net could sink the trawler. The Charade old-timer name has been around for over 100 years. Over the years, this brand has earned the reputation for toughness and reliability. The Charade Cutlery Company began in 1904 in Walden, the largest of 3 villages of the town of Montgomery in Orange County, New York. Walden was purchased in 1736 by Alexander Kidd. The settlers were Scotch, Irish, English, and German. The village fathers needed to replace the mills as a source of employment and began encouraging knife manufacturers to relocate from nearby Dutchess County to the vacant buildings where the New York Knife Company made much of its cutlery employed by the Union Army during the U.S. Civil War. After the war, other knife makers came to Walden, and the village consequently became known as Knife Town. A few years ago, the original Charade Cutlery Company went bankrupt, and after its collapse, all of its assets were sold off to pay its creditors. These assets were sold off to a number of companies. Taylor Cutlery in the U.S. purchased the rights to the name and models. Remember that the ease of speed of accessibility to a knife blade makes it more simplistic. The faster access merely makes the blade easier and safer and quicker to deploy. This does not make it more offensive as a weapon. It's still just a knife, just more useful to legitimate users. Those who perpetrate crimes abusing knives have their blades drawn long before they intended to use them, as offensive crimes involving knives almost are entirely premeditated. The ease with which the tool is usable in no way makes it more or less offensive than any other knife, just safer for the user and others in close proximity to its use. The automatic knife has accumulated a bad reputation over the years. Terms like flick knife, switchblade were all branded by the tabloid press and Hollywood hype. Hollywood movies such as Rebel Without a Cause and West Side Story portrayed these knives as weapons of hoodlums. The portrayal of a useful tool was never depicted by Hollywood. They never showed any fisherman that was caught in a life-threatening event in high swells to save their lives, which was the whole purpose from the Charade Cutlery Company to produce such a knife. When has the media ever portrayed the truth in its full entirety, limiting the rights of useful law-abiding users because of the actions of a few idiotic hoodlum criminals have dictated bans in the UK, Canada, Australia, and many US states for possession and carrying such an item. Thanks to the powers that be, however, in the US, it's up to the state to decide. Many states do prohibit them altogether, as possession is considered illegal as well as carrying them. But there are many states, however, that allow possession and do not allow concealment or carrying them. There also are a lot of states that allow possession and carrying them, with some limitations on concealment. All the information on state statutes are available. All you have to do is search it out, or you can call your local police department and propose the question yourself. Unfortunately, there is a federal Switchblade Act that prohibits interstate commerce of such items. Like stated before, the state has the sovereignty to decide what it regulates inside the borders of such states. The Fed restricts interstate commerce, but have exceptions to the rule for military, law enforcement, one-armed persons, and knife distributors who distribute to the first 3 that were stated. So there are no federal restrictions on a federal level with what activity goes on within the state level, but the state sets the precedence of what is sold inside such a state. The fact that the whole idea is to provide a tool which is easily and readily available for use with maximum safety in mind. So what are the alternative? Buy them as a kit. You can assemble them in 5 minutes. Got questions? I got answers. Email me at jb@roadsideimports.com.